Was diplotin arrest clear? Completely? Any doubts in diplotin arrest, anyone? Prakriti, Naveen, anyone, any doubt? Avantika?
No, sir.
Okay. So today we'll be answering question number 3. So I had answered 2 questions. Yes, yesterday question number 1 was why does it happen? So it has to accumulate a lot of mRNA and proteins because it divides before getting implanted, right? It does not get implanted just after becoming zygote. Keeps on dividing its 16 cell, 32 cell stage, becomes blastocyst. Okay, then it will get implanted. So for that period of time, it needs to have proteins, mRNAs. So accumulation of those things occurs, and because of that, it has to stay arrested in order to accumulate the raw materials, you can say, in a way. So now the question number 3 is how does it get? Or how does it get broken, you can say, or how is the arrest overcome at puberty? Get broken at puberty means what specific things happen at puberty that it leads to breakdown of the diplotin arrest. That is my question. So what happens is if you talk closely, okay, so the early development of the follicle, it occurs without the significant influence of hormones, right? Meaning that the hormones required are what? Follicular, you can say the FSH, follicle stimulating hormone, okay? On the and the receptor for follicular granules, what is called follicle stimulating hormone, FSH, is found mainly on the granulosa cells. Okay, mainly found on the granulosa cells, not on the primary oocyte. So receptor, follicle stimulating hormone is a protein hormone, FSH, which is a protein hormone, not steroid. Means it needs receptor, right, on the cell surface. The receptor is present on the granulosa cells, not on any other cell, on granulosa cells. Always remember, present on the granulosa cells and not on primary oocyte. Okay. When FSH receptors are bound with the FSH hormones, what happens is the granulosa cells, they do what? They produce something known as estrogen. Very, very important. Okay. So this is the primary oocyte. Suppose this is the this is the granulosa cell layer. This one. So these cell layers. Okay. Here there will be FSH receptor. When it binds with FSH hormone, then these cells will produce 17 beta estradiol, or simply known as estrogen. Okay, know this mechanism very, very well. Okay, and estrogen gets produced from where? From the cholesterol. Okay, the precursor is cholesterol. So specific hormones, sorry, specific enzymes are expressed when this binds. Means the signaling event will cause the expression of various enzymes which will convert cholesterol downstream to estrogen. Okay, we'll talk about the delta 4 pathway in little bit in tomorrow's lecture maybe. There I'll also explain the biochemistry of synthesis of testosterone, estrogen, then progesterone, everything from cholesterol only. How does it change? Cholesterol becomes, you can say, pregnenolone, then it will get hydroxylated even more. So those things will be taught tomorrow, I think, or maybe today if the time permits. Now, what happens is when estrogen is produced, okay, it leads to the development of, okay, follicles. And development of follicles occurs why? Formation of something known as an antrum. Antrum is a liquid filled cavity. Okay, I'll just show you the image. Antrum is what will happen? This estrogen will lead to, you can write down, formation of an antrum, which is a liquid filled cavity. And that liquid is known as by special name liquor folliculi. Liquor folliculi. I'll just show you the image of liquor folliculi. You will understand what liquor folliculi is. Okay. Now, what happens is the formation of antrum. This cavity divides the follicular cells into two groups. Okay. I'll just show it to you. Wait, I'll just find the image. Okay. Yeah, the best image. Can you see the screen? Can you see the screen, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, see here. This is the primary follicle. Okay. This is the secondary follicle. This is the primary oocyte. Okay. This small thing, the light blue colored thing is known as zona pellucida. Okay, zona pellucida is acellular again. Might have heard the name of zona pellucida. It is an acellular layer again made up of proteoglycans, glycoproteins, and all. Then we have one layer of follicular cells, single layer. This is single layer, but this is not primary. This is secondary, tertiary follicle, you can say, because it has more than two layers, 3 layers, 4 layers. It is more than 2 layers. Okay. Now, this specific thing that you can see, bluish color. Okay. Bluish color, if you see, zoom it in, see this bluish color thing. This is known as membrana granulosa that I told yesterday, which is the basement membrane, because these cells are epithelial in nature. These cells, the whitish one, they are connective in nature. So these cells in this diagram, which you can see in a better way, the outer cell are known as theca externa, connective tissue taken from the stromal layer of the ovary. The inner layer, you can say, they are known as the theca interna, taken from the internal layer of the ovary. Okay. So there are two types of cells. Understood? Now see, since the FSH can bind to this thing known as the granulosa cells, after binding, these granulosa cells are releasing some liquid. Okay. And this liquid is causing formation of a cavity that is known as antrum. Here you can see it is getting filled with liquid. Okay. Filled with liquid. That is known as antrum. The cavity is getting filled with liquid. You can see. And then this is the primary oocyte. Then zona pellucida, and then these are the follicular cells which directly surround the primary oocyte. Now these follicular cells, okay, they are known as cumulus oophorus. You can see it's written here, cumulus oophorus, the follicular cells which directly surround the primary oocyte. And you can see these follicular cells, they are not surrounding directly, they are separated from these via antrum. So these follicular cells will be known as mural granulosa cells. Written here. That is known as mural granulosa cells, these ones. Okay, that is the technicality. This is something known as the Graafian follicle. Okay, this one is the Graafian follicle, the entire huge follicle. Okay, this is the Graafian follicle. Okay, any doubt here? This is cumulus oophorus, which is not surrounding directly, separated by the antrum filled with cavity. Okay, liquid, and the liquid is known as liquor folliculi. Okay, that I wrote. This liquid is known as liquor folliculi. Okay, and this one, these cells, these epithelial cells, or you can say the specific follicular granulosa cells, they are known as mural granulosa, and which are directly in contact with the primary oocyte. Not directly because you have zona pellucida, but still very, very close contact. These ones, these are known as cumulus oophorus cells. Both are epithelial. Name changes due to its location. Okay, get this concept very, very clearly. These things are asked directly in the competitive exam also. Okay, cumulus cells. Cumulus cells. This questions comes in board exam as well. What is cumulus oophorus? Or simply they will be asking cumulus cells. Okay. So is it clear to everyone? Any problem? Anshika, Anamika, Mansi, Prakriti, any problem?
No, sir.
Okay. So this is what Graafian follicle looks like. In your book, it not asked.
Sir, the liquid folliculi do it. It what does it do? I mean, it acts as a shock absorbing layer.
Not as a shock absorbing. Here there is no shock present. See, outside this is what is called theca interna and externa, and it is still inside the ovary. Okay, so there is no use of shock right now. Okay, still ovulation has not happened. Ovulation means this entire thing along with zona pellucida only will come out, and little bit of these cells out of the ovary it will come out, right? So that is known as ovulation. Ovulation has not happened yet. It will happen in the ovulatory phase when I teach you menstrual cycle. So this will provide more nutrition. It has got more nutrition, protein factors. Okay. Then transcription factors. Those things are present here in the liquor folliculi. Okay. So proteins, growth factors, transcription factors, then electrolytes, then you can say obviously 70% water. Without water, it won't be. So those things are present so that it can directly provide that you can say protein factors to these cells, which will then diffuse via diffusion to the primary oocyte. That is the work of liquor folliculi. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So after this, we have a very, very specific mechanism that you can say the cells of the theca interna. Now come to the cells of the theca interna layer. Okay, theca interna that I showed you, you can write down the theca interna, not externa, the inner connective tissue cells. They possess receptors for luteinizing hormone. Means follicular cells they possess receptor for FSH. These are possessing receptor for LH. That is the difference. Okay. And when they do possess the receptor for luteinizing hormone, okay, the theca cells in the presence of luteinizing hormone will do what? Will produce testosterone. Okay. This is the suppose theca interna. This is the LH receptor. LH came and bound here. Downstream signaling pathway. Some other enzymes got expressed, and then the same thing happened. Your cholesterol got converted to androstenedione, which is a kind of testosterone only. Okay, in competitive examination, you should be knowing 4 types of testosterone. You only know one. There are 4 types. One is androstenedione. Another one is 12-dihydroxy testosterone. It is known as DHT also. Then 1, 2 is testosterone, 3 is dihydroxy testosterone, 12-dihydroxy testosterone. Then number 4 is known as DHEA, dihydro epiandrostenedione. You can say spelling should be dihydroepiandrosterone. Okay, that is our DHEA. So human body, specifically male body, produces 4 types of testosterone. This one and this one are more potent. Okay, you can say in a way that I'll talk about in later classes. Okay, mainly this one, not this one. Wait, I'll tell you. I'll change color. Testosterone and dihydrotestosterone. They are more potent than these two. Okay, they are less potent. You can say. So specifically, if you learn by NEET level, the luteinizing hormone changes cholesterol to androstenedione. Okay. But at board level, if you write testosterone, you will get marks. Okay. There's 2 steps. NEET level, you need to be specific. Androstenedione. It is a type of testosterone, you can say. But at board level, you can just think of it with luteinizing hormone binding with LH receptor causes cholesterol to be converted to testosterone also, you can say. Okay, so it becomes kind of testosterone. Specifically, it becomes androstenedione, which falls under the category of testosterone hormones. Now, the theca internal cells will produce androstenedione. Okay, now the influence of FSH, okay, on the, you can say, just look here, a beautiful mechanism. How does it? I told you, right? It converts, it causes them to make estrogen, the follicular cells. How does it do so? Just imagine this. Wait. This is the primary oocyte. This is the let's make one more layer. It really happens with Graafian follicle, but I'm really making one layer here only so that it becomes clear. This is the membrana cavernosa. We want to make this one is the zona pellucida. Okay, and this one is theca interna. This one is theca externa. Okay. Now theca interna possesses receptors for LH. What does it make? I can write testosterone to be simple. Testosterone. Specifically, it will be androstenedione. NEET aspirants can write androstenedione. Board aspirants only. Testosterone is fine. Now, this testosterone will diffuse because it is a lipid soluble hormone. Understand the logic here. Since it's a lipid soluble hormone, testosterone is not water soluble, it is made from cholesterol, steroid hormone. It can diffuse through the membrana granulosa cell and it can diffuse through the where? It can diffuse through the inside of the follicular cells, get inside the cells, and follicular cells, I told you, do what? They express receptor for FSH. When FSH binds with FSH receptor, you know what happens really? There is a hormone known as aromatase which is synthesized. Aromatase. And when this testosterone has got into the cell, the reaction will be testosterone or androstenedione. Hormone is produced, which one? Aromatase. Converts testosterone to 17 beta estradiol, which is also known as estrogen. So this is the reality of estrogen formation by the follicular granular cells, which I told you in the or just 5 minutes ago, right? It directly doesn't make estrogen; it makes aromatase. Testosterone comes in from theca externa, gets into the cell, and then this aromatase acts on it, converts it into 17 beta estradiol or estrogen. Understood the concept? Everyone? Any doubt? Any doubt regarding the concept?
No, sir.
Okay, so LH binding to the theca interna will make it produce testosterone. Testosterone will pass through, get into the granulosa cells. FSH binding to granulosa cells will make aromatase. Now, aromatase will convert testosterone to 17 beta estradiol. That is the concept that you should be knowing. Okay. Now, what happens is this estradiol, okay, which is produced, now it leaves this one. Now it leaves from here and can go to the circulation and then can cause secondary sexual character development in females. Okay, less hair on the body, breast development, then shrill voice, more hair on the scalp, okay, thinner bones, okay, those things. So, main area of synthesis of estradiol or estrogen is follicular cells only. Okay. Also, this estrogen, okay, when you talk about this estrogen, So the estrogen also stimulates, okay, the formation of LH receptors on granulosa cells. Very, very important. This estrogen is produced, it will act on the cell. Okay, autocrine mechanism. If you know autocrine, paracrine, endocrine, I taught in the last class, or in the last class means class 11. Estrogen is acting on the same cell, and now these granulosa cells will also express LH receptor on their cell surface. Okay, formation of LH receptor means now they will be answering to LH now. Earlier they did not have LH receptor, but now estrogen is produced. Estrogen will automatically cause the induction of LH receptor on the granulosa cells. Okay, and LH receptor binding to, or LH receptor present on the cumulus oophora cells. Okay, they surround what is called when LH binds to the LH receptors on the cumulus oophora cells. What happens? It shuts down. When LH will bind to it, it will shut down its gap junction. These gap junctions that I told you will be shut down. Okay. When gap junctions are closed between the are shut down, between the granulosa cells and primary oocyte. Granulosa cells and primary oocyte. Okay, what will happen? Can CGMP go from the granulosa cells to primary oocyte? No. If CGMP cannot go, remember this fact. CGMP was doing what? It was inhibiting phosphodiesterase 3A. Now this will not be inhibited. Now cyclic AMP will be converted to AMP. Easy. And now if AMP is being made, there is no cyclic AMP, you cannot inhibit MPF because it was cyclic AMP which was inhibiting MPF. So it will come out of the depleting arrest because MPF is now no longer inhibited in that. You can say that way. Okay, just relate. That will be the happening. Okay, I'll just show you an image here. See. You see the screen? This thing. Okay. CAMP, PD3 activated, reduce CAMP levels, AMP activation, meiosis resumes. Okay. Can you see the screen? This one. Can you see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Just have a look here. See. These two diagrams you can make use of. High CMP, then GMP also comes in through gap junction, inhibits PD3A. High CMP will inactivate MPF, but when these gap junctions are closed, cyclic GMP cannot come. Okay, this one. Now PD3A is now activated because GMP, cyclic GMP was inhibiting this PD3A. It is activated, this will degrade this CMP, which was not getting degraded here. Now CMP becomes AMP. When it becomes AMP, there is no CMP. So MPF will not be inactivated. MPF is activated. Okay. So that is the theory behind it. AMP is activated. So is it clear completely? Today's lecture, I'll just send the link to you in few minutes. Okay. On YouTube or the YouTube link. Okay. Is there any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay, so I'll just send the link. Just go through it. Tomorrow we'll revise all this again. Okay, if you have any queries, you can ask. Okay, once more I'll explain. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.